Don't you dare upset him, Ethan. I'm carrying his child, and I'll come back to you once it's born. Don't ruin things. Seraphina's voice, shrill and laced with a strange urgency, sliced through the stunned silence in my home. My phone buzzed with her incoming call, but I was already staring at the ultrasound image on my social feed, a stark, undeniable outline of new life. The caption from Gareth, her sick friend, read, "We're going to be parents." The celebratory words hit me like a physical blow, stripping the joy from my own birthday. I hadn't cried. I hadn't screamed. Instead, I'd simply sent her a draft of our divorce papers and started packing a small suitcase for a solo trip across the continent. Just hours earlier, I meticulously prepared a birthday feast, my heart brimming with anticipation for Seraphina's return. The irony was a bitter taste in my mouth. The only news waiting for me was of her pregnancy, and the child wasn't mine. I'd always envisioned a home filled with children. After we married, I bought countless adorable baby items, daydreaming of our future family. But Seraphina had always claimed she disliked children, worried a pregnancy would ruin her figure and derail her career. She'd insisted we wouldn't have any. It wasn't that she disliked children, it was that she didn't want my children. Ever since Gareth's alleged illness, Seraphina had frequently rushed to his side, claiming to offer comfort and care. But I never imagined her care extended to sharing a bed. She once said I was the only man she loved. Now, that memory was nothing more than a cruel joke. I was pouring the untouched birthday dinner into the trash when Seraphina finally returned. She frowned, her eyes scanning the empty table. "Why isn't dinner ready?" she demanded, a sharp edge to her voice. I ignored her, continuing to scrape the elaborate meal into the bin. Her irritation flared. "Ethan, are you even a man? Leaving your wife to starve, especially when I'm pregnant." In the past, she always returned to a warm, home-cooked meal waiting for her. I chuckled, a hollow, bitter sound. "You're pregnant, all right. Pregnant with Gareth's child." Seraphina froze, then her voice softened, dripping with manufactured sweetness. "Honey, Gareth doesn't have much time left. His only wish is to have a child, so his family line doesn't end. Don't worry, the baby will be raised by his parents. It won't affect us." I remained silent. She reached for me, but I instinctively recoiled. Her temper snapped. "Ethan, I've explained everything. What's with this attitude? Years ago, I almost drowned, and Gareth saved my life. You wouldn't even be with me now if it weren't for him. You should be grateful." At her words, something in me snapped. "Seraphina, are you insane? He cheated with you, and I'm supposed to be grateful." I rarely raised my voice, and her face instantly flushed. "You're speaking so harshly. I'm just having one child for him, that's all. Don't blow this out of proportion." I laughed, a cold, mirthless sound. "We're getting a divorce. I don't care if you have one child for him or a dozen." The word divorce seemed to shock her. "Ethan, what kind of joke is this?" she spluttered. "No joke. We're getting a divorce." "Oh, come on. Ethan, stop playing games. I know you can't live without me. You're just bored, spending all day at home, so you have time for silly jealousy." Her gaze flickered over me with undisguised contempt. She seemed to have forgotten that without me, she wouldn't be where she was today. Seraphina was fiercely ambitious. After graduation, with my family's help, she'd open a company, but her inexperience quickly brought it to the brink of collapse. It was my money and my tireless effort that turned things around, resurrecting her business. During that period, I worked day and night, finding investors and closing deals, often neglecting my own health to the point of severe stomach pain. Later, she'd suggested I stay home, assuring me she'd handle her career better if I managed our household. I agreed, and slowly, I became a stay-at-home partner. Now, she resented me for it. The irony was suffocating. "Seraphina, you care for Gareth so deeply. Wouldn't it be better if we divorced and allowed you two to be together?" I asked, my voice calm but laced with venom. "Don't be ridiculous. Gareth and I are just friends. Can't you trust me? Friends who have children together?" I was tired of arguing. My resolve to divorce was unshakable. Seraphina, however, refused to budge. Seeing my unwavering stance, she huffed in anger. "Let's take a break for a few days. You need to calm down." With that, she slammed the door and left. In the past, whenever she stormed out after an argument, I would be frantic, chasing after her, eventually bringing her back. She would then look down at my pathetic attempts to appease her, only forgiving me after I'd groveled repeatedly. But now, my heart felt strangely serene. I had pursued Saraphina for 6 years before she finally agreed to marry me. And even during the first 4 years of our marriage, Gareth's shadow had always lingered. I wasn't even allowed to complain, lest she label me petty. A little later, Gareth posted another status update. My love will always be by my side. With you, I have no regrets in this life. Accompanying it was a photo of Saraphina, sitting by his hospital bed, peeling an apple for him, looking utterly gentle and attentive. I remembered getting a cold once and asking her for a glass of water, only to be refused with a dismissive, "I'm not your nurse." Saraphina herself commented, "I'll always be with you, never leaving." I stared at the comment and let out a laugh. Saraphina clearly believed my love for her was unconditional, giving her license to act with such blatant disregard. Moments later, Gareth deliberately screenshotted his post and sent it to me. "Ethan, sorry to bother you again, but Saraphina has to take care of me." I replied casually, "It's fine. You can have Saraphina for good." Immediately after, I blocked him. Out of sight, out of mind. The next afternoon, my mother called, urging me to come home immediately. Assuming an emergency, I rushed back. The moment I walked through the door, my mother beamed. "Is Saraphina pregnant?" She explained that a neighbor had seen Saraphina at a prenatal clinic that morning and told her. I pressed my lips together. "She is pregnant, mother. But it's not my child." My mother gasped, stunned. My father, his brow furrowed, asked, "What do you mean?" I recounted the entire story, concluding, "I'm going to divorce her." My mother seethed. "Such shamelessness. I'll go to her house and demand an explanation." My father pulled her back. "Our son is divorcing her. What's the point of confronting her?" I nodded. "Please, both of you, don't worry about her anymore. From now on, I only want to focus on my career." My parents, I remembered, had opposed my marriage to Saraphina years ago. They said she was too ambitious, her calculating nature too obvious, and unsuitable for marriage. But they couldn't sway me, so they eventually conceded. Now, looking back, they were right. My father clapped me on the shoulder. "That's the spirit. Your mother and I support you. We don't need a two-faced woman like Saraphina in our family." He then pulled out his phone and showed me his bank balance. "This is your startup capital. If it's not enough, I'll sell some of my shares." My eyes widened. "Father, where did you get so much money?" He chuckled, pleased. "Our family has always had money. We just didn't want you to be so consumed by love that you'd pour everything into Saraphina, so we never told you." They had lived modestly, in an unassuming neighborhood, leading Saraphina to believe we weren't well off. She rarely visited my parents' home. My father and I discussed my upcoming business plans. Our ideas aligned perfectly, and my confidence soared. Even after years away from the corporate world, I knew I had the acumen to succeed. After dinner, I met up with friends for drinks. Saraphina never liked me drinking. For her, I'd given it up, shrinking my social circle, making her the sole focus of my life. My friends always felt I'd sacrificed too much in that marriage. Reflecting now, after so many years together, I realized it was always me accommodating her, me being tolerant, while she never once considered my feelings, utterly selfish to the core. The gathering was lively, and I drank quite a bit. It felt like ages since I'd felt such unadulterated release. I arrived home at 2 in the morning, surprised to find Saraphina sitting on the living room sofa, her gaze cold and accusing. "Not home. Off carousing, are we?" she snapped. I mumbled, "Out drinking with friends." Her voice turned sharp. "How many times have I told you I don't like you drinking?" My head spinning, I ignored her and walked straight to the table to pour a glass of water. Saraphina stood and came closer, pulling a paper bag from behind her back. "I didn't forget your birthday. This is a belated gift." I glanced inside the bag. A pair of running shoes. By the look of the bag, they were bought hastily from the local department store downstairs. I remembered Gareth's birthday last year. She had specially ordered a pair of high-end, designer shoes that required a 2-week wait. For me, it was an afterthought. I showed no expression. Don't you like them? Seraphina asked. Every year before, I'd been thrilled with her gifts. Now, I simply managed a tight smile. Thank you. Seraphina took a deep breath. Ethan, honestly, I only helped Gareth have a child out of gratitude for saving my life. Stop making such a fuss, it's exhausting. I took a sip of water. Don't you need to go to the hospital to care for Gareth? Seraphina paused for a few seconds. You're telling me to go take care of Gareth? I nodded. Didn't you say he couldn't be without someone by his side? You should go quickly. Seraphina, furious, spat. Ethan, if you're jealous, just say so directly. Don't be so passive-aggressive, or I'll only despise you more. Think what you like. I put down a glass and turned towards the bedroom. Not long after, I heard the satisfying slam of the front door. One morning, I was woken by a searing pain. My entire stomach felt like it was being twisted. I rushed to the hospital. The doctor informed me I had a malignant tumor in my stomach and required surgical removal. I didn't tell my parents, fearing their worry. The surgery went smoothly. When I woke, I checked my phone. Seraphina had sent no messages. I scoffed at myself. Every time we argued, I was always the one to apologize first. She always held the upper hand, waiting for me to surrender. Once, Gareth had a high fever in the middle of the night and called Seraphina. I tried to prevent her from going, and we had a massive fight. She gave me the cold shoulder for 2 weeks, until I brought her favorite soup to her office for 3 consecutive days to appease her. After being discharged, as I waited for the elevator, I saw Gareth. His complexion was rosy, not at all like someone on the brink of death. I suspected his illness was a lie. The moment he saw me, Gareth's face twisted with disdain. Ethan, you can't beat me. I gave a cold laugh, as if I cared to compete with him. Seeing my smile, Gareth immediately bristled. Seraphina loves me. You should divorce her quickly. Stop taking up space for nothing. I retorted. If she loves you so much, why won't she divorce me? My words seemed to strike a nerve. Gareth swung a fist towards my face. I didn't hold back, raising my hand to strike back. I had wanted to hit him for a long time, but I had just had surgery. I lacked strength. My punch barely fazed him. Gareth, however, crumpled to the ground, gasping as if he couldn't breathe. I knew he was faking it. His complexion was better than mine. Just then, Seraphina rushed over. Gareth, are you all right? She helped him up, then glared at me, furious. Ethan, you're a madman. I'm telling you, if you dare harm Gareth, I won't forgive you. I had a fresh wound on my face too, but Seraphina seemed not to notice. Her eyes were only for Gareth. This wasn't the first time. Seraphina always favored Gareth, despite me being her husband. Clutching my abdomen, I swallowed the pain and spoke coldly. Seraphina, if you cherish him so much, why don't you sign the divorce papers? Seraphina's expression flickered, her lips parting as if to explain. Gareth suddenly leaned into her. Seraphina, Ethan didn't mean it. Don't be angry. Don't let our friendship ruin your relationship. Gareth said this while giving me a provoking look. Ethan, I'm sorry. I know Seraphina has been taking care of me lately, and it's made you unhappy. If you want to blame someone, blame me, not her. More of his usual manipulative tactics. In the past, I would have fallen for it, engaging in a jealous fight. Now, I was past caring. I turned and headed towards the stairs. Ethan, wait. Seraphina called out, chasing after me. You hit Gareth like that. Apologize to him. I didn't turn back. Just as I was about to descend the stairs, a shove from behind sent me reeling. Already weak from surgery, I tumbled down the entire flight. Seraphina's hand froze in midair, her pupils constricting as she saw me lying in a pool of blood. When I next awoke, I was back in a hospital bed. Beside me, Seraphina's voice was filled with joyful relief. Husband, you're awake. She looked at my pale face, her voice laced with guilt. I'm so sorry. I truly didn't mean to push you down. I was trying to pull you back. The doctor, she explained, said my stomach wound had reopened, requiring a few more days of hospitalization. You just had a gastrectomy. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't answer, my attitude cold and distant. Seraphina seemed flustered. She took my hand. Husband, please don't be angry with me. I promise I'll never argue with you again. I pull my hand away coldly. The wound throbbed violently. I was too tired to talk. Seraphina's phone suddenly rang. She glanced at the screen, then ignored it. I didn't need to guess who it was. Answer it. If something happens to him, you'll blame me again. Seraphina hesitated, then answered, putting it on speaker. As soon as it connected, Garrett's weak voice drifted from the phone. Seraphina, I'm feeling so unwell. Can you please come over? Seraphina said, okay, then hung up. I waved my hand. Go. Seraphina looked at me. If you're angry, I won't go. I'll stay with you. I scoffed. Didn't you say he was dying? What do I have to be angry about? Seraphina's expression became complicated. After a moment, she said, then I'll go see him first. You rest and get better. I'll be right back. I paid her no mind, closing my eyes to rest. Seraphina returned around noon, carrying a lunchbox. Time to eat. I wasn't being dramatic. I couldn't treat my body poorly. But as soon as I opened the box and saw the contents, my appetite vanished. I put my chopsticks down. Seraphina, bewildered by my reaction, asked, what's wrong? Don't you love shellfish? The one who loves shellfish is Gareth, not me. I'm allergic to it. My face was impassive. Seraphina's expression stiffened. I had told her countless times about my shellfish allergy, yet she never remembered. But Garrett's preferences she recalled perfectly. Seraphina realized her mistake, her voice filled with panic. Husband, I remember now. I promise I'll never forget again. I didn't say a word, picking up a different lunchbox. There was no later for us. That afternoon, while Seraphina was out, I quietly moved to a VIP room, instructing the doctors and nurses not to let anyone disturb me. Seraphina, discovering my disappearance, became frantic, calling and texting repeatedly. I only replied once, don't disturb my recovery. Seraphina stopped texting. Without her presence, I ate well, slept soundly, and my wounds healed faster. On my discharge day, she arrived early to pick me up. Husband, I'll take you home, she said with a smile. I didn't refuse. I followed Seraphina into the car, and, once home, went straight to my room to pack. Where are you going? She asked. A trip to Europe. During my hospital stay, I planned a trip, booking flights and accommodations. Seraphina immediately said, I'll come with you. We haven't traveled together in ages. In the past, that was all I'd ever wanted, to travel with her during our free time. But every time I suggested it, she'd accuse me of lacking ambition, of only wanting to play, and chastise me for disrupting her work. No need. Your work is so demanding. Don't let me waste your time, I replied, throwing her own words back at her. Seraphina was speechless. She stood silently, watching me pack. Once I was finished, I pulled out the divorce papers and handed them to her. These are the divorce papers. Sign them. When I return, we'll finalize the procedures. Seraphina didn't take them, evading the topic of divorce. She smiled thinly. Then have a wonderful trip. I'll be waiting for you. I said nothing more, placing the papers on the table before leaving. That afternoon, I flew to Europe. The change of scenery worked wonders on my mood. I spent 2 weeks abroad, enjoying a level of relaxation I hadn't felt in years. I had a wonderful time. The moment I returned, Seraphina was waiting at the airport, holding flowers. As soon as she saw me, she ran over, her face beaming. Husband, you're back. She handed me the bouquet, as if no conflict had ever existed between us. Are you hungry? I've booked your favorite restaurant. Let's go eat. I followed her to the restaurant. In truth, this wasn't my favorite restaurant. It was hers, which was why I often booked it. Throughout the meal, Seraphina avoided any mention of divorce, instead chatting incessantly, recounting recent events at her company, project updates, and personnel changes. It was like we were back in the early days of our relationship, when she always had endless stories, and I would respond with enthusiastic interest. But now, I simply ate in silence, occasionally grunting. Even feeling her chatter was an annoying distraction from my meal. Despite my lack of engagement, Seraphina continued to talk, seemingly content without my replies. After we finished eating, I asked, have you signed the divorce papers? The smile on Seraphina's face instantly froze. Must we really divorce? A deep chasm doesn't form in a single day. It's the accumulation of countless moments. My disappointment in her had long since reached its peak. Yes, I've decided to divorce you. This dinner is our farewell meal. Seraphina abruptly stood up. Ethan, you have no career now, no stable job. Without me, what will you do? Her face clearly showed her contempt. She believed I had always revolved around her and would never amount to anything without her. But she didn't know that I had willingly become a stay-at-home partner because I loved her. Once I stopped loving her, she meant nothing to me. Besides, I hadn't been idle during my trip. My new company was almost ready, awaiting only a few final approvals before opening. But these details, I had no intention of sharing with Seraphina. She no longer had a place in my future. I chuckled. If you think I'm so useless, why aren't you eager to divorce me? Seraphina, furious, declared, I won't divorce you. I wasn't angered. I glanced at her growing belly. Your belly is getting bigger. How will you explain that to my parents when the time comes? Seraphina knew she had no argument. She remained silent, but still refused to divorce. I knew what she was calculating. Gareth was dying, so she had no intention of divorcing me from the beginning. She thought she was so clever. I was tired of bickering. I stood up and left. Seraphina stamped her foot in frustration behind me. Ethan, don't you dare walk away. What do I have to be afraid of? I strode out quickly, heading to my parents' home. They were enraged to hear Seraphina wouldn't divorce. I reassured them. It's fine. We'll divorce eventually. At worst, we'll find a lawyer and go to court. My company was about to launch, and at such a crucial time, I didn't want to dwell on Seraphina. An old friend of my father's, a prominent businessman in his youth, heard I was starting a company and specifically recommended a project to me. After contacting the client, we arranged to meet at a cafe. When we met, I was pleasantly surprised. You? We had met on the plane. She sat in the row in front of me. I never imagined she would be my first client. Skyler smiled, extending her hand. Hello. I shook her hand and invited her to sit. After a brief discussion, we quickly reached an agreement, both confident in the project's success. That evening, I invited Skyler to dinner. The moment we entered the restaurant, we ran into Seraphina. Her face darkened when she saw Skyler. Ethan, are you divorcing me because of this woman? I was about to speak, but Skyler took my arm and asked, I heard you had an ex-wife. Is this her? Seeing this, Seraphina grew even angrier, reaching out to grab me. I sidestepped her hand, stating coldly, Who I'm with is none of your concern, Seraphina. If you don't sign the divorce papers, we'll go to court. Then everyone will know about your marital infidelity. Seraphina, enraged, finally conceded. Fine then, divorce. Ethan, don't think I can't live without you. I let out a sigh of relief. Finally, we could divorce. Then tomorrow morning at 9:30, we'll go handle the paperwork. With that, I led Skyler out of the restaurant and to another for dinner. I'm sorry you had to witness that spectacle, I said. Skyler smiled gently. Divorcing her was the right decision. You're an exceptional man. You deserve someone better. I was slightly taken aback, then smiled. You flatter me. The next day, Seraphina and I arrived punctually to file for divorce. However, a new regulation required a 1-month mediation period before a final divorce certificate could be issued. We had no choice but to wait. As we left, Seraphina looked at me. This divorce was your choice, Ethan. Don't regret it. I gave a cold laugh. Don't worry, I never will. Seraphina glared at me one last time, then stormed off. My company officially launched, and I became incredibly busy, overseeing every aspect personally. Fortunately, my father, with his seasoned wisdom, often offered insightful ideas that proved immensely helpful. Some clients who had previously worked with Seraphina's company, upon hearing I had started a new venture, approached me for collaboration. Seraphina found out and called, fuming. Ethan, I truly underestimated you. Not only did you secretly open a company behind my back, but you're stealing my clients. I replied calmly, those clients were originally brought in by me. If they're unhappy with your company, they'll naturally choose to work with me. And as for me secretly opening a company behind your back, that's ridiculous. We are in the process of divorcing. I have no obligation to report my personal affairs to you. With that, I hung up. The next second, Saraphina called again. I promptly blocked her number. After nearly a month of intense work, the company finally stabilized. With some free time, I met up a friend for drinks. They told me Saraphina and Gareth had a spectacular falling out. It turned out Gareth had never had cancer. He had bribed a doctor to fabricate medical records to deceive Saraphina, his sole aim being to extort money from her. He used every excuse imaginable for Saraphina to lavish him with funds, not just exorbitant medical fees, but also demanding she buy a downtown apartment for his parents' retirement and a luxury car for his sister. I had long suspected Gareth was faking his illness, but what was even more ironic was that Gareth had a girlfriend of 3 years, to whom he was engaged. When his fiancée discovered Saraphina's existence, she caused a massive scene at Saraphina's company, publicly shaming her as a homewrecker. Only then did Saraphina realize Gareth's illness was a sham. She was so furious that she publicly confronted him, demanding her money back. I listened to it all as if it were a fantastical rumor, truly a melodramatic mess. The gathering ended, and I returned home, only to find Saraphina waiting at my door. Her eyes were swollen, as if she had been crying. Seeing me, she rushed forward. I took 2 steps back, frowning. "Saraphina, what are you doing?" She sobbed. "Husband, can we not get a divorce?" My voice was cold. "No, Gareth lied to you. He was never sick. That's between the 2 of you. You don't need to tell me." I cut her off, walking around her to unlock my door. Saraphina suddenly hugged me tightly. "Husband, I was wrong. Can you forgive me? Let's not divorce." I gently removed her arms. "It's impossible. We have to divorce." But Saraphina wouldn't give up. Every day, she came to my parents' house, even bringing them gifts. My parents ignored her, but she persisted, thick-skinned, never offended even when sent away. In our 4 years of marriage, she had never been so proactive. She not only visited my home, but also brought lunch to my office, claiming she had made it herself. The moment I opened the lunchbox, I saw nearly burnt scrambled eggs. It had to be hers. She couldn't cook. "Saraphina, nothing you do will change my mind. You're wasting your effort." Just then, Skyler knocked and entered. Seeing Saraphina in my office, she raised an eyebrow. "If you're busy, we can discuss this tomorrow." "No need." I looked at Saraphina. "Please leave. Don't come here again." Saraphina glared at Skyler. "Is it because of this woman that you keep rejecting me?" My face hardened. "Saraphina, you know what you did. Don't drag others into your mess." I finally escorted Saraphina out. Skyler shook her head. "I've met quite a few strange women, but your ex-wife is a new level of peculiar." I too felt a headache coming on. I never imagined someone as arrogant as Saraphina could become so clingy and troublesome. Even my parents remarked she seemed like a different person. Thankfully, the divorce mediation period was almost over. I hoped that once the divorce certificate was in hand, Saraphina would finally leave me alone. That day after work, as I stepped out of the office, Saraphina called out to me. "Ethan." I frowned, bewildered by her persistence. Just as she was about to approach me, a figure lunged forward. It was Gareth. He grabbed Saraphina by the shoulder. "Saraphina, you wretched woman. I finally caught you." Saraphina's face twisted in disgust as she tried to wrench herself free. "Let go of me, Gareth." "Let go," Gareth snarled. "If it weren't for you, my girlfriend wouldn't have broken up with me. This is all your fault. You owe me compensation." Saraphina raised her hand and slapped him. "Shameless dog. How dare you demand compensation from me? Get lost." Gareth wouldn't stand for it. He immediately hit back. Saraphina's eyes blazed red, her face distorted as she punched him. "You scoundrel, I'll kill you." Gareth didn't hold back either. Watching them turn on each other with such fury, I felt a grim satisfaction. During the shoving match, Saraphina fell to the ground. Blood quickly spread beneath her, nearly staining her dress crimson. She cried out in pain. "It hurts. My stomach hurts." Gareth's face went white with fear. He turned and fled. I was speechless. That was his child in Saraphina's womb, yet he ran away like that. In the end, it was Skyler and I who took Saraphina to the hospital. The doctor said the baby couldn't be saved. She had miscarried. When Saraphina regained consciousness, she looked at me. I never wanted this baby anyway. Losing it is for the best. Her face was full of regret, tears streaming down. Husband, I'm so sorry. I know now that you're the one who loves me most in this world. In the past, I dreaded seeing her cry. Now, her tears felt artificial. After all, she had brought all of this upon herself. I reminded her, Saraphina, we're divorced. She shook her head. No, not yet. Until the divorce certificate is in our hands, you're still my husband. She looked at me mournfully. We've known each other for 10 years. How many 10 years does one have in a lifetime? I don't believe you can truly bear to leave me. Give me another chance. I promise I won't disappoint you. I spoke without a trace of hesitation. Saraphina, there's no going back for us. If you dare to change your mind about the divorce, I will post all the evidence of your infidelity online. Saraphina flinched, her fear evident. After being discharged from the hospital, she obediently cooperated, and we formally finalized the divorce. The moment I received the divorce certificate, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. 15 long years had finally, completely ended. However, I had underestimated Saraphina. She still hadn't given up. She came to my house, kneeling on the ground, begging me to take her back. Saraphina, I no longer love you. Please stop bothering me. Saraphina stubbornly insisted. Husband, I know you're just angry. If you don't forgive me, I'll stay here on my knees. I frowned, growing increasingly annoyed. If you're not afraid of losing face, then keep kneeling. But let me tell you, even if you kneel until your legs break, it's useless. Saraphina covered her face, sobbing uncontrollably. Ethan, I know your family is wealthy. Can you help my company through this difficult time? She had always spent money like water, saving little. The money she'd spent on Gareth had all come from her company accounts, leading to severe financial problems and the risk of bankruptcy. Her primary reason for wanting me back was to have me rescue her company once again. She made me laugh, a bitter, incredulous sound. Saraphina, do you really think I'm a fool? You used company money on another man, and now you want me to clean up your mess? Why do you think I owe you anything? I don't. I suggest you retain some dignity for yourself and disappear from my sight. She had made her own bed, and she deserved no pity. Saraphina collapsed onto the ground, her lips trembling as if to speak, but she found no rebuttal. I slammed the door shut, leaving her on the other side. My life afterwards remained busy with work. Skyler, though she appeared delicate, worked with remarkable method, decisiveness, and a unique vision that often made me feel I couldn't match her. To ensure the project progressed smoothly, Skyler and I frequently discussed work. Saraphina, of course, assumed we were dating. I saw no reason to explain anything to her, but I never imagined Saraphina would become so unhinged that she would attempt to disrupt Skyler's professional life. In a fit of desperation and jealousy, Saraphina attempted to sabotage a critical presentation Skyler was leading, spreading false rumors and attempting to plant misleading information to discredit her company. This reckless act, while not directly violent, caused public chaos and a minor traffic incident near the venue. Skyler's driver, who was on his way to pick her up, was mildly injured in the ensuing confusion. Skyler, by a stroke of pure luck, had been slightly delayed and was unharmed, arriving just as the dust settled. I received the news, rushing to the scene, my heart pounding with dread, only to see the shattered glass and debris of a minor accident and signs of struggle. I feared the worst for Skyler. An onlooker told me the injured person had been taken to the hospital. I frantically searched for my car. As I opened the door, I heard someone call my name. Ethan. I turned. It was Skyler, standing there, completely unharmed. She tilted her head and smiled at me. In that moment, I knew I had fallen for her. I rushed to her, pulling her into an embrace, checking frantically for any injuries. Skyler reassured me. I'm fine. It wasn't me driving today. It was my driver. Although Skyler was uninjured, we decided to report Saraphina's actions to the police for corporate sabotage and public endangerment. The outcome of her investigation was easy to predict. That weekend, my parents invited me to dinner. At the restaurant, I was surprised to see Skyler. "What are you doing here?" It turned out Skyler was the daughter of my father's old friend. They had originally intended to arrange a blind date for us, but fearing we wouldn't like the idea of a formal setup, had introduced us through work instead. After a pleasant conversation, the topic inevitably turned to marriage. Skylar's face flushed crimson. I couldn't help but tease her. "You haven't had any wine. Why is your face so red?" Skylar playfully glared at me. I took her hand. We looked at each other and smiled. Skylar's parents, seeing this, chuckled endlessly. And just like that, Skylar and I found each other. I must say, we were perfectly matched. Whether in work or in life, we were incredibly in sync. Only then did I truly understand how happy one could be when they found the right person.